Okay, so let's start our discussion. Now, actually, I was putting this diagram on screen until we start so that you can remember what we have discussed earlier. Right? So, can I know whether my voice is audible? Can you hear me?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, right. So, during our last session, we talked about the cardinal vowel diagram. In our discussion on vowel sound production, under that, the classification of vowels. So just like the consonants, vowels can be classified into different categories. Different types of vowels are there, and these types are based on or recognized based on certain criteria, or we call them phonetic features of vowels. So here when we talk about the vowels, there are 4 phonetic features. According to these 4 phonetic features, we can see the cardinal vowel diagram has been designed, right? Primarily. So during the previous session, of course, I discussed in detail how these 4 phonetic features in relation to the vowel sound production are represented in the cardinal vowel diagram, and how we can easily recognize the characteristics of vowel sounds that are given to us with the help of the cardinal vowel diagram, right? So therefore, today also I am not going to repeat that section. So from this point onwards, we will be moving on to the discussion on types of vowels. Actually, we already discussed about the different types of vowels in relation to the cardinal vowel diagram. But from this point onwards, you will get used to the characteristics of different types of vowels, right? So that's what we are going to discuss, characteristics and the features of different types of vowel sounds, right? So now let's begin our discussion with the front vowels. Now, when you see the word front vowels, by now I hope you can understand what is meant by the front vowels. Because now, what kind of phonetic features are involved here in the front vowels, and what is the particular phonetic feature in relation to the tongue location? So all these things you should remember now when you look at the word front. Okay, right. So now let's see this. The front vowels are produced with the high point of the tongue in the palatal region. High point of the tongue. Now, you know, in the first phonetic feature, we divided the tongue into 3 sections: front part, middle part, and the back part. So the particular part that is raised or that moves during a vowel sound production is what we call here either as front, central, or back. Accordingly, now if we feel our front part of the tongue somewhere around the tip area, okay, feels a slight movement when we produce a certain vowel, we call it a front vowel. And if we particularly use the middle part of the tongue, right, the central part of the tongue, when we produce a vowel, we call that vowel a central vowel. Similarly, back vowels, right? So keep that idea. So whenever you see the term front vowel, you should remember in producing front vowels, we use the front part of the tongue. Okay. So with the high point of the tongue in the palatal region, right? So the front vowels of modern English are all unrounded. So now here, of course, this is a discussion considering more than one phonetic feature, of course, right? We are considering 1, 2, or maybe more than that phonetic features that are relevant in the vowel production. So there was another phonetic feature, the last one, the lip rounding, right? So we have, accordingly, we have 2 categories of vowels, round vowels and lip spread vowels. So usually in modern English, the front vowels are all unrounded. Okay. So you can check actually, you can take certain front vowels Can refer back to the cardinal vowel diagram. E, E, right? And A. So these are the front vowels, the front area. So when you produce these vowels, you can understand, actually we are not rounding our lips when we produce the front vowels, not rounding, right? They all are lip spread vowels. So in the high front area, there are two vowel sounds, right? High front area. So you know, high front area, this part, of course. Okay, I think my circle was too big, right? This one. So there are two vowels, high front tense vowel and high front lax vowel. Actually, the difference between these two vowels is this tense and lax difference. Okay, high front tense vowel. This is represented with the Roman alphabet lowercase e. E, this one. Right? This is the long A sound of words such as A means actually this is long E. This is a letter, right? Now, you need to get the support from these lectures to read and understand your module clearly. Okay. So that is what is happening basically from this lecture. So if you do not attend to the lectures and just go through the module, sometimes most of the time, I hope, certain areas may not be familiar and you may not understand at once. So that is why you need to listen to these discussions either before or after you refer the module. Okay, so usually I advise you to read the module first, just one round, and be familiar with the sections there, and then come to the lecture so that you will understand fully what is there. So at the same time, I think I have told to you, I'm not quoting everything in the module, right? Only the basic area, so that when you listen to these discussions and after you go back to the module reading, you will fully understand what is there. Well, we just think about here high front tense and high front lax vowels. So high front tense E, right? Actually, this is long sound. Tense, always remember, when you look at the word tense in relation to the word vowel, that means long vowel. We are dragging, right? We have a drag when we pronounce this vowel, tense. So, for example, the words like heed, bead, even he, and bead, heat, heed. In all these words, I have underlined the relevant places. So when we produce the sounds in these underlying parts, you can feel E kind of, right? Long E sound, and that is what is called high front tense vowel. And high front lax vowel is the short E. And it is represented like this. So this is the vowel in words such as hid, bid, hit, kid. Right? You can notice short E. Quickly we say this E. We are not dragging. So instead of short, of course, phonetically we use the word lax. Instead of long, we use tense. So tense vowels are long and lax vowels are short, like this. So all these are the two variations of high front vowels. Okay. And when you think about the mid-front area, there are two possible vowels, only one of which is found as a monophthong in English. So now the thing is, when I continue the slides here, it's not easy for me to go back all the time to the cardinal vowel diagram and show you the points there. Okay. So therefore, now you have the cardinal vowel diagram in your module or in your notes, or in whatever the sheets you may have. Maybe at least you have the cardinal vowel diagram in your phone, just an image. So please check. You need to do that, right? Check your images while we are talking about these points. So next we talk about the mid-front area. Okay. And here also we say there are two possible vowels. One is the upper mid front vowel and the other one lower mid front vowel. Both are mid front vowels, right? Mid front area. One is upper, the other one lower, right? So when you think about the upper mid front vowel, just look at this. This is represented with the Roman alphabet lowercase a, this one. Okay, a sound. And of course, this is the sound in German leben, to live, French eat, summer, or Spanish leche, milk, right? So in these words, actually, these are the meanings of these words. And in these words, you find this sound. Of course, these words are not from English, right? German, French, and Spanish. If we compare the French and Spanish words with English a or le, we find that the English sound is really a diphthong. Now, still, of course, we didn't talk about diphthongs, right? And soon after this vowel discussion, we are going to move on to talk about the diphthongs. But you should know something about diphthong before that now, right? Diphthong, very briefly, I will tell you now. Thong means sounds, right? And here, thong means sound, diff means two. So diphthong means two sounds, actually two vowel sounds together. There are situations in certain words when we pronounce them, we produce two vowel sounds, one after the other very quickly. Okay. So actually, we don't consider these two vowel sounds two separate units. We consider both these vowel sounds to be one unit, one sound unit. Within that unit, we have two vowel sounds. That is why we call them such sound units as diphthongs. Two sounds together. So if we go back to the point, actually in French or Spanish, right? This a sound is quite short, right? But in English, comparatively, it sounds like a diphthong. So the tongue is not in a constant position, but moves to a glide at the end of the sound. So the tongue is moving while we produce this sound unit. But when you just say E, okay, when you just produce the sounds like E, A, O, U, tongue is not moving anywhere. Tongue is there in a fixed position, wherever inside the mouth. But when we pronounce diphthongs, our tongue is moving. There is a glide, right? Now, you know the meaning of the word glide, right? Slipping from one position to another position. So the tongue is moving from one point to another point. And that's another word for diphthong is glide, right? Because the tongue is gliding from one point to another point. Okay. So just to understand this point, I'll give you just a very simple example for diphthong. Okay, this word, just think, how do you say this word? Yeah, I think all of you can see the screen. How do you say this word? Don't think artificially now, right? Just simply, it's quite common.
Table.
Yeah.
Table.
Table. Any other one? How do you normally say? Any other different way?
Yes. According to the letters.
According to the letters.
Yeah. Normally, then, if we say, ma'am, it's table, but we're writing and so we can say in a different way, but it's wrong pronunciation. No?
We'll see. Okay. What about the other two? You also agree with her? The pronunciation, Ilma? Any idea? Ilma, how do you say? Just say the word. I don't know whether the other two are listening at the moment, But now the Tarani, the point is actually in according to the Sri Lankan English pronunciation, of course, we say table. That is what you said, I think.
Yeah.
If I heard correctly, right?
Yes.
Table. We say table. Actually, there we use a monophthong. Monophthong means single vowel sound. Te. Your tongue is, of course, fixed. You do not move your tongue when you pronounce the vowel, not the whole word, right? When you pronounce the vowel in this area. Table. Table. But actually, according to the British Standard English pronunciation, this is pronounced with a diphthong, with a glide, right? It's like table.
Table.
Table. Yes, actually it's table. There is a sound. We will be talking about these diphthongs today itself.
Ma'am, then what is the correct one? So I also used to tell this like table.
Table.
Is that correct?
Using the monophthong, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, this is the typical SLE pronunciation, right? Sri Lankan English pronunciation. And this diphthong is the British English pronunciation. That is the only difference. Of course, we can't label. One is correct and the other one is incorrect.
Okay, ma'am.
Not a matter like that. Okay. So anyway, you need to be aware because now, as I'm always telling, English is not our native language, just a second language. So we don't have to try hard to imitate it as it is 100%. But still you, all of us should have an awareness how English is pronounced by its native speakers, right? The native speakers means the Britishers. How these British people are pronouncing their own mother tongue, their native language. It doesn't say that we should imitate it, but better if we have an understanding and awareness. So that is why I'm showing the difference, right? So table is one word where we can find a diphthong, although it's not very much familiar to us, but still there are words, right? There are words which we pronounce with diphthongs. I'll write one.
Okay, ma'am. Rain.
Of course, now here also you might think, okay, we use the monophthong, rain, rain. But of course, rather than the monophthong, there is a kind of a, right? Right? Rain, a. So the diphthong is there. And also there are many words like that. M-A-I-N.
Main.
Like, yeah, main gate. We say main. Yeah. And another day, the word, actually I told it, day.
Day.
Of course, that is not pronounced with a diphthong by the Sri Lankans, right? We say day. Typically, we use a, the monophthong, day. But this is pronounced with a diphthong by the native speakers like day. Day. Of course, they are not dragging it, of course, right? Now, how have you heard that these people are telling today? Now, today is for us. Today.
Today.
How do the native speakers say the word? Can you guess? Of course, they don't emphasize the vowel U, the first vowel sound. We say today, today. Right? But they never emphasize the first U, the first vowel sound U. Instead, they just reduce the power and the strength of that into schwa, a sound. So they say t, not tu, like Sri Lankans, right? T. And the other difference, we say day, they say day. So for us, the word is today, but it is pronounced as today. Today. By the native speakers. So like that, there are a lot of differences, of course, between British English and SLE. So actually, our focus is not that, no, right? Not to compare these two varieties. So we'll go back to our discussion. I just wanted to make this diphthong familiar to you before I go into the lesson, right? So if we just talk about this regarding upper mid front vowel, in English, of course, it is pronounced more or less like a diphthong, little bit like a diphthong, unlike in French and Spanish. Okay, right? Like when you think 8, lay, you can feel that, right? 8, lay, it's not like that in English, but we Sri Lankans may be telling it using a monothong, right? Without any touch of a diphthong there. But usually it's pronounced as 8, lay. You can hear a sound, right? Not fully a sound, but something like that. So, okay, so that is what we say here. It moves to a glide at the end of the sound. Glide means a kind of changing from one position to another position. Actually, it's the tongue, right? That is moving when we say a diphthong. So most dialects of English have no pure A. Right? Most dialects of English, just like the British dialect, right? British English. Sometimes they have the sound A, but most of the time they use A, right? There is a glide involving. But in Sri Lankan English dialect, of course, mostly we have A, pure A, not A. Okay, so that differs from dialect to dialect. Dialect here means English dialects. So that is about the upper mid front vowel. The sound is actually A, right? That is the sound we are talking. I will clear, right? Okay. And the second category, yeah, lower mid front vowel. Lower mid front vowel. This is represented with green epsilon. This one, right? Now this is the symbol. This is the sound in head, bed, neck. Bed, certain words are not underlined, right? Here, care. It's a very common vowel in English. Now you need to understand actually here, the sound difference between the word 8 and head. You might feel, okay, we are producing the same sound. No, there is a difference, right? There is a difference. In the second category, lower mid front vowel, it's actually A, which is very commonly available in English language, right? Head, bed, neck, bed, like that. Here, here. But this sound, like what you found in the words 8 or lay, that pure A sound is not available in these words. Instead, we have to say, in the sense, if you just assume ourselves to be English speakers, right? We have to say it with a touch of diphthong, 8 or lay. That is how, not short A sound. It, we can't say, we can't pronounce the word ATE as it, no, right? Oh, we have to drag it a little bit. And, so that is the sound represented by this symbol. And this one represents this commonly existing sound, short sound, A sound. Okay. And in the low front area, there is one vowel in English. So we have been talking about low mid areas, no? Upper mid front vowel and lower mid front vowel. So of course, you all have to have a very clear idea regarding what you mean by low and front and back and all these words. So all these things are related to our previous discussion regarding in relation to this cardinal vowel diagram, right? Okay, so if you don't have an idea still regarding what you mean by these words like low, front, back, mean, you need to refer to the cardinal vowel diagram and understand what kind of low vowels are there, what kind of mid vowels are there, etc. Okay, so back to the note. In the low front area, there is one vowel in English, the low front vowel. Okay. So these types of vowels are given in red color on screen so that if you are referring to the screen, you can easily find them. So this is represented by the old English symbol called ash. Ash. This one. This is the symbol. And this is also very common sound, of course. It is the sound in words such as lamb, hat, rap, fast, tram. Okay, a sound. It is a sound. It's actually there's a name for that. It's called ash. Right? We write the symbol like this. Quite easy to write the symbol. Okay, a. It is slow front vowel. And well, so if just to talk about the central vowels, the tongue is in the palatal velar region. So as we have finished our discussion on consonant sound production, when you see these words, you should understand what we mean by them, right? Palatal velar region. The tongue is in the palatal velar region when articulating the central vowels. Now, I told you during the last session, central vowels are produced with the touch of the central part of the tongue, which means the middle part of the tongue is moving slightly when we produce central vowels, and that is why they are called central vowels. So actually, which area of the tongue? Central part of the tongue or the middle part of the tongue means when you just think about the upper side of the mouth, right? Just above the middle of the tongue, we have the palate, hard palate and the soft palate. Above the inside of the mouth, hard palate and the soft palate. And that is why we say here, the tongue is in the palatal velar region, right? Palatal means hard palate, velar means the soft palate. So tongue is in that area when we produce central vowels, right? And all of which are lax and unrounded. These are lax and also not rounded. Right? In the mid-central area, there are 4 sounds, right? All kind of productions are there. So one is upper mid-central vowel. Upper mid-central vowel. This is represented by this symbol, right? We call it schwa. Now, certain vowels have names, of course, right? And schwa is the most popular vowel among these 12 vowel sounds. It's quite popular. And the name is schwa. And this sound is found in unstressed syllables only, and that is why it's very much popular. Now, you know, these native English speakers, they are quickly telling the words now, right? Now, when you listen to this native pronunciation, when you watch a movie, or maybe when you listen to a song, right? Or when you just listen to an audio track by, or video track by a native English speaker, the first thing you notice is that these people are very quickly telling the language, right? Pronouncing the words. This is one reason. Because they, just like the Sri Lankans, they don't pause and they don't strongly pronounce each and every vowel. So when we strongly pronounce vowels, of course, our speech becomes slow. Okay? Like today. Today is one clear example. Now you just compare the pronunciation of today by a Sri Lankan and by a Britisher. Who is telling it quickly? It is the Britisher. Yeah. Because we say, we fully pronounce oo sound. And then we tell the monophthong a. So for us, it is today. Did you come today? Right? I'm hungry. I'm tired today. Like that. But these British people, they, in certain syllables, right? In some of the syllables of the words, they do not stress the vowel. They do not fully emphasize, or they don't give a strength to certain vowels in certain syllables. So they very quickly pronounce these syllables, including the vowel sounds, just like what happens to today, right? So today we fully pronounce to, the first syllable, to. But the Britishers, they never stress it. They never fully pronounce it. They quickly say. That is what is the meaning of unstressed. They do not stress the vowel sound inside some syllables like to. So they quickly say it like today, right? Today. But for us, it is today. Today. So they do not stress. So remember then, how did they unstress the syllable? They unstress the syllable by replacing O with A. Sure. So that is why they could quickly say the word, right? So this is an important point regarding this sure, of course. And that is the very reason why it's popular that much. It's very common among the native pronunciation, native-like pronunciation, right? So this sound is found in unstressed syllables only, as in sofa, about, subtract, offend. Of course, we don't say them as offend. No, we don't say subtract, right? Subtract. About, not like that, about. So far, no, wrong, so far. Okay, a sound is available. So that is called upper mid-central vowel. Right? So in the following words, the underlying vowels in the unstressed syllables tend to reduce to sharp. This one, now there is a list of words. Yeah, actually I have quoted them as they are from the module. So this list is available in page number 41, right? So you can refer the module from page number 41 onwards to study this area. Okay. So now there are two columns. You can understand how we use this schwa. Okay, how just to tell it more clearly, we use schwa to unstress a syllable now, right? So we can unstress a syllable by replacing a strong vowel with a vowel like schwa. So that is happening when you look at these two columns, right? It's actually the first column, first word, second column's first word. See how the word is changing. Now, first word pronunciation, catastrophe. Catastrophe. Actually, we give heaviness, right? This a sound, the syllable, the second syllable is quite strong. Catastrophe, we say. But this is the noun, right? But when you turn it into an adjective, when the word class is changing, you can notice the difference in the pronunciation of the second syllable. Earlier it is catastrophe. A sound is there, but this a sound is replaced by a sound in the adjective. We say catastrophic, catastrophic. Now earlier we stress, that is this stress mark you can see, right? This is the stress mark. Putting this mark above a syllable means we stress that syllable. So that is why we fully pronounce a sound here. But when we change the word into an adjective, you can see not the second syllable, it is the third syllable that is stressed. O, containing the vowel O. So what happens to the second syllable then? Its strength or stress is weakened. So a becomes catastrophic, catastrophic. So now we are stressing the third syllable, O, containing the vowel O. All right. So that is how you should understand the other. Okay. Examples. Now, allege, allegation. You can say allege, allegation, absolve, absolution. Now, this is actually O sound, right? Now, this is the symbol usually we use. Now, in this module, certain symbol changes are also there, right? But you need to understand what's happening. Absolve, O sound, is reduced to a sound in the noun here. Absolution. Absolution, right? Absolution. Oblige, you can find I. The diphthong, I is there, but when we change it into a noun, obligation, obligation, is there. And depreciate sound is replaced by a deprecate in this word, deprecate, a sound. And location, E, the diphthong is replaced by a locative. Location, locative in the adjectival form. And propose, O sound, this is the symbol, of course, which you can use to understand the sound here. Propose changes to proposition, not proposition, right? Proposition. So O changes to a. Now I think now you can clearly understand how much schwa is important, because it plays a big role when we want to unstress a syllable. Right? So what we usually do is to replace the strong vowel in a stressed syllable by schwa. Then the syllable becomes unstressed. It becomes weak, not stressed. Okay, so that is the use of schwa, of course. And the native English speakers are using this sound very much, unlike the non-native English speakers. Okay. Right, so here you have two more features of vowel sounds, tenseness, vowel tenseness and vowel length. So in common when we talk about the vowels, in common now, earlier we were talking about the major categories of vowels, right? And here you can find two features that can be commonly seen, two major features, of course, that can be seen in vowels. One is vowel tenseness, the other one vowel length. So you already know, I think, about the vowel tenseness, right? So this refers to the degree of tension in the muscles of tongue, which affects the total volume of the tongue and is responsible for small variations in vowel quality also, right? So in short, we can say tense vowels are longer, higher, and more marginal, while lax vowels are shorter, lower, and slightly more centralized. Yeah, the tongue position, tongue location are quite clear, right? And marginal when we produce tense vowels, and the clearest clue is this length. That's why earlier also I told you tense vowels are longer than lax vowels. So tense vowels are the lengthiest vowels and higher, right? And when you think about the lax vowels, they are shorter than tense vowels. Lower, the tongue is lower and slightly more centralized. The tongue is much more centralized when you inside the mouth when you produce lax vowels. But when you talk about the marginal vowels, tense vowels, the tongue is more marginal. The tongue tends to be in a particular margin. Now, for example, you can just compare E and E, long E and short E. Where is the tongue, of course, to understand this point I'm telling, right? The third point. Even you can understand the second point as well with the support of the example I gave you. When you say long E, that means the tense vowel, E, the time you take to produce the sound is comparatively longer, so it's a long vowel, and your tongue is higher, in a higher position inside the mouth, very close to the hard palate. And also it's more marginal. Marginal means not locate the whole body of the tongue is not located in a central area. It's much more closer to the hard palate, marginal. But when you say short E, the duration is shorter, and also the tongue is not that high, right? Tongue is a little bit lower inside the mouth, and also the tongue is much more centralized in a middle position. Central position, the whole tongue body is in a central position inside the mouth. Okay, so these differences are there between tense vowels and lax vowels. And the second feature, vowel length. Of course, particularly when we talk about the length of vowel, we talk about the time spent in articulating a vowel. Time. It is related to the time, of course. Unlike many languages, English does not distinguish between long and short vowel pairs, right? It has been found that syllables in English are always the same length. In other words, they always take the same amount of time to articulate, right? So this, rather than articulating a single vowel here, this explanation or description is related to the articulation of syllables, right? Syllables, because now inside one word there can be only one syllable or two syllables or more than that. Here, what this point says is that usually in the English language, right? Let's say that there are 3 syllables in a word. So all these 3 syllables are pronounced more or less within the same time. That means if you can understand like this one word, just think about a word. I'm not giving an example, right? Here, just drawing one word, right? This is one word. And first syllable, second syllable, third syllable. So we just take comparatively the similar time, the same amount of time to say the first syllable and the second syllable and the third syllable. Similar time. That is a characteristic in the English language. So therefore, this vowel length is not very much visible in English. Okay? It's not very much visible in English, but still you can talk about the duration of articulation of a vowel when you talk about the tense and lax vowels, right? Tense vowels, now because there you have a point longer and shorter. That is there in relation to the tense lax difference. But vowel length talks only about the time that is spent in articulating a particular vowel sound. So here, the point is, usually in English, we take a similar time, similar amount of time to produce all the syllables inside a word, right? Okay. Right. So this is what I aimed to talk about the vowel sounds, of course. When you look at your module, you would find, if you have already gone through the pages, you might remember there are a lot of informations, right? A lot of explanations. So I think for you to read those explanations and understand them, these lectures would definitely help. Right? So that is how you should study that stuff. And okay, can I ask whether now you have any doubt regarding the vowel sound production? I have come to the end of the discussion on vowels. So, all right.
Yeah, ma'am. I need to go through some more times in the textbook also, ma'am. That means student guideline. Then it will be okay.
Yeah, definitely. You need to do that. All of you need to do that, right? Yes. Okay. Then I will move on to the diphthongs, the third important category. Right? Because now when we pay our attention to the classification, the most important categories are vowels. Vowels means the pure vowels, so monophthongs, consonants, and diphthongs. Semi-vowels are also important, but the next important discussion is on diphthongs. Now, this is not that much lengthier, right? Just like consonants or vowels, but still you need to identify what do you mean by diphthongs and what are the diphthongs primarily, and then the certain words where diphthongs appear and what's happening in the production of each and every diphthong. Okay, so here you have examples of diphthongs. Actually, these are not examples. These are the diphthongs. You can find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 diphthongs are there together, right? So we have 12 monophthongs, 22 consonants, and here 8 diphthongs, right? Now I'm giving you all, not only to 1 or 2 people, right? 1 or 2 students. I'm giving all of you some time now, right? Just take this as an exercise. Still, I didn't tell you anything a lot about diphthongs. So I'm showing you the diphthongs here on screen. Right? So I'm giving you some time now to find out some words, at least 2 words for each diphthong. That would be enough, right? Find some words where you find each of these diphthongs. 2 words for each would be enough. Okay, right. So I will give you around 7, 8 minutes. Okay, do it now.
Ma'am, excuse me.
Yes.
Ma'am, do me a favor. I got one call from my school, so I had to answer that call.
It's all right.
Can I know what do I want to do, ma'am, with this?
Now the thing is, I'm introducing the diphthongs to you all now. So
Yeah.
at the beginning, I just have given you time to identify some words where each of these 8 diphthongs occur. Right? So you just write at least 2 words for each sound.
Okay, ma'am, I'll do.
Okay. Okay. So, finish.
Not yet, ma'am, but it's okay. We'll.
No, you just try all the 8 diphthongs.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Give me a few minutes then.
Okay.
Ma'am, I wrote few.
Okay. So, I don't know about the other two.
Yes, ma'am. I think they are.
Okay, madam. They finished.
Sana, you also have done, right? Okay, so Ilma, maybe not available here. Okay, right. So now you can, of course, just say, right? What about the first one? During our discussion earlier, I just gave you certain words and you can think about them also, or else better if you can think about your own words. How about the first diphthong? Actually, the first diphthong is pronounced as A. Okay, so you need to be familiar with the pronunciation, otherwise you can't find words. First one is actually a combination of A and E together quickly. That is the important thing, right? We very quickly pronounce the second vowel immediately after the first vowel, A. What are the words you have found? There are only 3 people, right? So, Tharani, to start with you? Okay, Ilma. Right, I got your message. Fine. So, if possible, you can send the words in chat box. Right? Okay, so how about the, first diphthong A, what are the words?
Madam, day, pay, play, is it correct?
Day, lay.
Pay, lay.
Okay, lake, right, fine. And Tharani?
I wrote, ma'am, pray. And break.
Break. B-R-A-K-E. What is the first word? P-R-A-Y?
P-R-E-Y.
P-R-E-Y, pray. Okay. So you can think of more words, of course, because this first diphthong is quite common, right? Although we are not very much using all these diphthongs, just like the native people, still the first one is very common, right? Okay, I'll also will give you some words, right? After I listen from you. Late, Ilma. Okay, fine, right. How about the second one, pronunciation? This is the combination of A and E. Quickly pronounced, I. Right? The pronunciation is like I. Okay, now you tell me the words.
Light.
What is the word?
Light.
Light, okay.
And bite.
Bite.
Those two words I wrote, ma'am.
Rausan?
Buy and tie. Buy and tie.
Bite. You also have written the same word, B-I-T.
No. B-U-Y, buy.
B-U-Y, buy.
And tie, T-I-E, tie.
Okay. Right. Correct. Ilma, there is a problem in your words, of course. Day, you may have written for the first diphthong, right? Day and lane. Okay, I'm talking about the second diphthong now. So just ask him the words from you. So Ilma, you can think about the second diphthong and the words. Now, when you find words, of course, this particular sound unit, diphthong can probably come in the middle or maybe at the end position of the word. Okay? Right? Sometimes you would be able to find words where the diphthongs occur at the beginning also, sometimes. Okay, Ilma, correct, hi, right, fine, good, right. The third one, pronunciation is oi, right? Oi, O-I, oi, right. What are the words?
Boy.
Boy.
Oil.
Oil, fine. And Rausana?
Toy, T-O-Y, toy, and boy.
Yes. Boy, right. Oh, so now when we say these words, toy, boy, little bit dragging is there, right? It's all right. Anyway, now, yeah, the two vowel sounds are O and E together, right? Next one, ow. It is A plus U, ow. What are the words?
Crown.
Crown, brown, drown, right? Even down.
Brown.
The same type of words.
And how about the cow, ma'am? Can we write cow?
You mean C-O-W?
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Clown, okay, Ilma, right? And yes, Rausana, you have written any word? For ow? No, right. And the next one.
Phone. O is correct.
Could you please spell? Because the voice is not very clear.
phone, phone, phone. Oh.
Phone. And the other word?
No, no, it's correct.
Now you have written for this one, right?
Which one? Fourth one? No, one, the second, third.
The one I just underlined, this diphthong. So actually it says au. So you need to check whether this au sound is available in the two words.
How? Sorry, madam.
How is correct.
How?
Correct. That's fine. Okay. Right. And the next one, oh. Oh, now you may not hear this diphthong. Probably you may not hear this, right? You do not hear this in SLE pronunciation. It's that much rare, but very common in British English pronunciation. Because we have some other replacements. Instead of using this diphthong, we use some other monothongs, of course. Now, you know, Sri Lanka in SLE pronunciation, these monothongs are very often used now instead of diphthongs. So this is also replaced with monothongs. This pronunciation is O. U. Schwa, and schwa is followed by U sound. O. What are the words you have found?
No, is it correct? No.
No means no.
No, yes.
No. Okay.
OH.
O. Do you say now OH means you mean the interjection? Oh, kind of word.
Yes, ma'am.
No, then it's different, right? That is O. Not O. This pronunciation is O. Ilma, what are these words? Our. You are writing for the previous one. Power. O. Okay, correct, right? Correct. Now think about this. Now, Tarani, have you got any words for O?
Ma'am, it's not much confidence on it. That bow, that arrow and bow. Like
spell, please.
Bow.
Spell, please.
Bow. B-O-W-L, bowl or bow. B-O-W.
Okay.
I'm not
B-O-W.
sure. Yeah, I'm
Not sure. Right. Bowl. Yeah, that is correct. Right? You have written only one word there.
Bow and bowl. I don't know that's correct or
not. B-A-double-L bowl. And
no,
B-O.
Container. Can put something.
B-O-W-L bowl. Bowl. Okay. That is correct, actually. There's no issue. But the thing is now why it's somewhat, maybe you think difficult, because as I told to you, this diphthong is not very popular among the Sri Lankans. When we talk in English, of course, we don't use it because we have better replacements. Right? Okay, I'll show you some words. Next one. This is E and A together, ear. Two vowel sounds here.
Near?
Yes.
Near.
Yes. Here. Yeah, okay. Ravsana, from you. And Ilma? Fear. Yes, correct. Yes.
Dear, yeah. Dear and here.
Yeah, dear and here. Okay. So you should make sure the first vowel sound should be E and the next one should be A. That's all, right? If these two vowel sounds occur together, then you can consider that. Right? The next one, this is A and A, air. This is also something like this one. Because not very much used and used differently. You may have heard in this country. So what are the words? Air.
Layer. Hair layer.
Hair. What?
Layer.
Layer. Layer. And
bear and hair.
Hair.
There. And
There.
hair.
Okay. H-A-I-R, hair. Is that what you say?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So how do you say that word? Kausan.
Yeah.
H-A-I-R. Now, just forget about diphthongs. Normally, how do you say the word? H-A-I-R.
Hair. Hair.
What about C-H-A-I-R?
Chair.
Chair.
Then why do you say chair and hair? Did you notice the difference?
Chair.
You said hair, okay? Both of you. And the other word, chair. Why the difference? Of course, both words, you have this diphthong, right? So it should be hair as well as chair. But the thing is, you may have heard these words to be pronounced as chair, haven't you? You may have heard chair and hair, right? Air. You produce the word as air, right? These are the two vowel sounds, air, right? We'll go to the last one, u. Last one, this is u plus u. There are some words.
Có.
Yeah?
Poor.
Poor. Yes.
Poor.
Poor. Correct.
Poor.
What? Other than poor and tour? So, now Ilma, S-O-U-R. How do you say the word? S-O-U-R. The other two also can think. S-O-U-R. How do you say? It's like sour, right? Am I correct? Yeah. There you don't have U sound. This is U. You just think a little bit more, you will find a lot of words.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so there are some words from me. You can check them. Check in the sense you don't have to write, of course. Only thing is you need to be familiar during the lecture, okay? Be familiar with these sounds and also be familiar with the phonetic symbols. These are the symbols representing these particular diphthongs, and I have underlined the particular places. Yeah. So I don't think you will find any problem with these words, the pronunciation of these words. Cane, main, rain, A, the diphthong A. And when you think about the next one, I, that is high, shy, even sky, I. Lot of words are there containing I. And all, like boy, you had written. And also even oil, right? There can be many more words. And ow, talking about ow, of course, how, house, how, etc. Oh, I told you it's not very common. That is found in the words like so. S-E-W, we don't say so, no, right? S-E-W, we pronounce the word as so. And there's another word, very common word, this one. You tell me how to say this. Which diphthong do you use? G-O. To say G-O. Which diphthong? Of course, do you use a diphthong at the first place anyway? You need to recognize that. You may have heard the word pronounced as go, haven't you? Right? People usually say go. I want to go there, like that, right? So this need to be pronounced as go. This is pronounced as go, go, right? It's not O. The diphthong O is used in SLE, right? This is O. Fifth I don't follow your word, Ilma. What do you mean by fifth? This always the fifth diphthong. Okay? But I need you to be familiar to make sure that you have written correct words. Next one, year, like in period, serious. Air, there, prayer, as well as the words you have written, right? The chair, hair, air, etc. Air, air. And the next word, ur, like in poor, tour, even sure. Okay. Well, I think you have got some idea regarding the diphthongs. Okay, the diphthongs are clear to you. And this chart is available in the module also. So I just thought of showing it here to understand, right? For you to understand the glidings of the tongue. So just think that this is the tongue. This is the horizontal axis, front, central, back divisions are there. In the vertical axis, you have high, mid, low divisions, different types. So it's, and also tense and lax difference is also there. So this is E, short E sound, and this is A sound, R, U, right? These are the important diphthongs. Sorry, these are not diphthongs, right? These are monothongs. But when we produce diphthongs, our tongue moves. I earlier told you from one position to another position. Actually, the tongue is gliding. So that gliding is indicated by these arrows. Okay. So even without this, easily you can refer back the cardinal vowel diagram and find out in the cardinal vowel diagram where is E and where is I, right? Find the place of E and also the place of E. Sorry, the place of A and E. So then A is somewhere here and E is somewhere here. Okay, in the cardinal vowel diagram. Now, I don't want to draw the whole diagram here. You already have the image. So, find the two places, right? A and E. So, you just draw an arrow there. That is the direction of the tongue. Okay, that is the tongue direction. The tongue is moving from A position to E position when we produce the first diphthong A. Just like that, you can do with the other diphthongs, the rest 7 diphthongs also. Okay, find the place of R and then E. Then draw an arrow. And O and E, draw an arrow. So now may I know whether you have the image, the hard copy of an image of the cardinal vowel diagram at the moment?
Yes, ma'am. In page number 43. So
much better then. Can you do the work now? Just to practice more about the vowel, the 2 vowel glidings. The glide from one vowel to the other, the direction. So I don't want you to, of course, follow this table too much, right? Rather than what is indicated in this table, you can go, no, I don't have here. The next slide is not the cardinal vowel diagram. So I have to go back to that, but you can do it now. So I'll give you a few minutes to practice. Practice means do the work I asked you to do. Find the 2 places of these vowel sounds in the cardinal vowel diagram and draw a arrow from the first vowel to the second vowel. So that is the direction of the tongue glide. Okay, do it for all the 8 diphthongs. Okay. Right. So, are you still doing the work?
Yeah, ma'am.
Give you 1 or 2 more minutes, right? Complete the work. Okay, so you must have done the work, right? So we'll continue. Yeah, right. So we are coming to the end of the discussion now, right? Actually, the end of the current lesson. We were talking about the production of vowels and consonants and a little bit about the production of diphthongs also, right? So here you have some more ideas about the function of vowels and consonants in relation to the syllabic divisions, right? So we'll have a look at that also before we wind up. Vowels have a function that can be described as syllabics. Now, in an earlier place also we use, right? We refer to this. We say vowel, the function of vowels is to function as the core of a syllable, right? So that is what is meant by here. Vowels have a function which is called syllabic function. That is, they constitute the nucleus, right? Obligatory nucleus of a syllable. So, you know, when we talk about the syllables, we can identify something as a syllable if that unit contains a vowel sound. Okay, if that unit contains a vowel sound. So, the nucleus of a syllable consists of vowel with or without consonants, which consists minimally of one vowel, right? Usually, if you just think about in the minimum level, there can be one vowel sound, just a single monophthong, or it can be a diphthong also. Now, if it is one vowel sound, it can be in the personal pronoun I, right? One vowel here means one sound unit, one vowel unit, not monophthong here. So you can see in this word, I is the word, only one vowel is there, no other consonants, right? So this is the nucleus as well as the word itself, the syllable and the word. All the three are the same here in the example I. And vowels are also louder, longer, more sonorous, and acoustically more prominent than consonants. Comparing vowels with the consonant sounds, you know, they are louder and also comparatively longer than the consonants and more sonorous. Sonorous effect is higher in vowels than in consonants, and acoustically more prominent. That means, you know, acoustically means how the sounds are traveling through air in the form of waves, right? So vowel waves are quite clearer and prominent than the consonants. So on the other hand, consonants generally have a non-syllabic function. So when you compare vowels with the consonants in terms of their functions, we say vowels are syllabic, whereas consonants are non-syllabic. Though they can begin and or end syllables, they are optional, right? Consonants are optional inside the syllable. So either consonants can be there or can't be there. But vowel is obligatory, compulsory. And when you talk more about consonants, they are also short and acoustically less prominent also. Okay, but distinction between consonant and vowel is not entirely absolute, right? Certain consonants have a syllabic function also. Now, I think you have understood this part. Basically, we identify, just to repeat a little bit, vowels are syllabic, whereas consonants are non-syllabic. In the sense, vowel is compulsory inside the syllable, whereas consonant is optional inside the syllable. But even this division is not a kind of hard and fast division, okay? Because there are consonants that have a syllabic function, which means they are like a vowel in being able to stand alone in a syllable. You know, when you just simply compare vowels and consonants, vowel can stand alone, right? Individually, we can produce or pronounce vowel sounds, but consonants do not have that quality. If we want to produce a consonant in isolation, what do? Always we attach it to a vowel sound, right? Now just think, how do you say this? How do you say this? I write the phonetic script, phonetics syllable on screen. And what is the sound?
Per.
This is per. Actual sound is up. But you don't even hear it properly, right? When I say the actual pronunciation of the consonant, up. And all these consonants should be pronounced as up, uk, ich, etc. But they are not clear. So that is why, for the easiness in teaching and learning these things, we attach a vowel also. So we say up plus a, pa. Uk plus a, ka. Likewise, we attach a vowel. Okay. So, which means consonants can't stand alone. But there are some situations where consonants can stand alone in a syllable. In such situations, we can identify the function to be syllabic, right? Those consonants to be syllabic without any other vowel sound. So usually these consonants include liquids and nasals, right? So liquids and nasals are considered to be syllabic than the other types of consonants. Liquid means liquid, l, and nasals, ma, na, nga, these sounds. So they are commonly syllabic, following a consonant at the end of a polysyllabic word. So you will find more examples, right? More in the sense further examples from the module. So please refer the module also. The underlying element may contain the vowel a, or alternatively no vowel at all. So in the latter instance, the consonant is syllabic and serves the function of a vowel sound. Now you have some examples here also. These are syllabic consonant sounds, right? You can see the underlying parts: ladder, butter, run, fizzle, middle, muscle, kettle. Now, don't confuse with the Roman spellings, right? Spellings with the Roman letters. You need to pay your attention to the pronunciation here. Otherwise, you can't recognize separately what is the consonant and what is the vowel, where is the consonant and where is the vowel also. So you need to think about the pronunciation. So when you think about the second set, fizzle, right? Fizzle. Actually, at the end of the word, okay, there are no vowels. Fizzle, no vowels. The word ends with l, which is a lateral or liquid, right? So there we say, we identify l has a syllabic function, although l is not a vowel sound. Similarly, this na, sounds here in reason, beaten, sudden, and, right? Said rapidly. And when we say and rapidly, of course, we don't even pronounce a, right? And. So in these underlying parts, you can notice when we pronounce these words, there are no vowels involving. These are nasals. So nasals have syllabic function. Jack and cat, right? Jack and Kate. No, Jack and Kate. They are n has a syllabic function. Looking good. N has a syllabic function. And also the last set. Solemn, rhythm, prism, chasm. Here, ma. The nasal consonant is ma. There are also no vowel sound is involved. Only the consonant is there. So it itself occurs inside the syllable. So we say these consonants, especially liquids like l and nasals like n and m. These three. consonants are said to have syllabic function. So we don't associate the syllabic function with the other consonants, okay? Only these three. Okay, right. So when you just think about the function of vowels and consonants in general, you need to pay attention to this point related to syllable, right? Syllabic and non-syllabic. And there are exceptions. That is what we discussed at the end. Some consonants like liquids and nasals also have syllabic function. Okay, well, so here this is a question. Right? Now just read the question and understand. Give a complete description of the vowel sound represented by the symbol. I have given you 5 symbols. So you need to recognize what the sound is. Right? Then give an English word containing the sound. So actually, one work is you need to give a complete description of this given vowel and then give a word, an English word containing that particular sound. Okay, so you, in order to understand these areas fully, you need to practice, of course. And the practice can be done with questions like this. It's not only, I mean, practicing means you are not just reading the module or pronouncing the consonants or vowels loudly. Not, that is not what I mean by practice. You need to do, yes, check your knowledge and understanding with this sort of question. So that is why I thought of having this question, right? And in the session itself. So we may not have enough time to discuss all the 5, but at least first 2, if you can, right? Do them now. And before we wind up today, I will discuss. Okay. So before that, you need to understand what you mean by complete description. Complete description means now we talk about 4 phonetic features, right? 4 phonetic features. All these are vowels. So in relation to the production of vowels, 4 phonetic features. So you need to consider, according to these 4 phonetic features, how you can label this sound. How you can label. For example, is it a front vowel, low vowel, close vowel, etc. You can just write the label, the name, the particular category into which the given vowel sound belongs, right? It belongs. And also no need of writing long lengthy descriptions. Just write down the particular category of the vowel and give a word also, right? Giving a word is not a very difficult thing, so easy job. Okay, give a word from the English language also. So you need to do this for the first 2, right? First 2 vowel sounds, and you have 2 diphthongs as well at the end. Right, never mind. You just try the first 2 only now. These 2. I'll give you now, it's already 24:06. I'll give you 5-7 minutes. Okay, right. Right, the first vowel sound, oo. So what are the types? Right? You must have found the phonetic features of oo. So in the cardinal vowel diagram, try to find out, or just to visualize where oo is. Okay? Oo, when you think about the first phonetic feature, the part of the tongue. So oo is a what? Back vowel. Okay. And then according to the second phonetic feature, high, mid, or low, the extent to which the tongue rises towards the hard palate. So there also, this is high. Third one, mouth opening, close or open. What do you think?
It's closed.
Mouth closed. Vowel. Fourth one, lip rounding. Round or close, spread. Lips. Ooh, ooh.
It's
Lips
not
round.
round.
Yeah, not round. Not round. Okay, lips round. You say ooh.
Yes,
Ooh.
lips. Yes,
Both
yes.
lips are rounded. Okay, so in your description, of course, if it says that you need to describe, writing only these 4 words is not enough. Okay, you need to explain, I mean, at least slightly, depending on the nature of the question, you need to say in relation to the phonetic features here. Right now, what do you mean by saying back? O is a back vowel means the back part of the tongue is moving. That is why we say it's a back vowel. And why do we say it's a high vowel? When we produce the vowel oo, our tongue is quite close to the hard palate. And close Y, round Y. Likewise, you need to say why. Why these types? So here I just wrote in very brief, only the label. Okay. So when you think about writing a word, of course, there are so many words. No? Can I know 2 words from you too? Rausana, what did you write? Wrote any word that contains this vowel? No. Tarani?
Yeah, ma'am, 2.
This one?
TW2. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
And,
now there are so many.
Yeah. Took, TOOK.
Okay. Right. So, Rausana, do you have any?
Madam, boot. Hood.
Hood. H-double-O-D. Okay. So, it is anyway. There are so many words. But if you need to provide one example, you just write only one. That's enough. But rather than writing a word, of course, the most important part of the question is the first part. Give a complete description. But on screen, I didn't give you a complete description. Okay, remember that. And come to the next vowel sound. This is A. A. So what are the types? According to the first phonetic, if you go by the phonetic features one by one, you can easily catch, right? Rather than trying to remember everything together, just go by the phonetic feature. So the first phonetic feature, part of the tongue. So A is what? Where is it? It's a front vowel. And then according to the, yes, the highness or the lowness, that is not central, mid. Mid vowel. According to the mouth position, that is also mid, right? Mouth position. So in detail, you can refer to the cardinal vowel diagram. There you have open, mid, close, mid. Likewise, 2 mid positions are there regarding the third one. So this is more closer to the A. Open mid, I think. Okay, so here I just write the word midden. And lip position, lips spread. Right. So you can write some words where A occurs. Now, while we were talking about this vowel, you I think you remember today, right? We mentioned that in English language, there are a lot of, this is quite common vowel in English, right? Quite common vowel in the English language. There are so many words like pen, etc. So I don't want to write many. Probably you may have written words, right? Okay. So just like that, you need to do the other three also, right? Identify the phonetic features of the remaining three vowel sounds. And then, when it comes to talk about the diphthongs, of course, you need to identify, okay, what are the types or the phonetic features of the vowels inside the diphthongs, okay? And then write some words so that then it will be quite practical. Your work would be practical if you can write some words where these vowels appear. Okay, these vowels occur. Right. So, of course, shall I clear this? Because I want to go to the next slide just to see what is there.
Okay.
Is it all right if I clear this writing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I hope you all would do this work. Okay. You all would do this work, and there's another small work, and I don't want to go into that now as our time is up now, right? So by the time when we meet next, we will start with the last exercise of vowel, and then it will take only a few minutes. So we'll move on to the next major lesson during the next session. All right then. So do this work before you forget it. That is the most important thing. Okay. If you don't do this and postpone this, you might forget. So do it as soon as possible whenever you get a time. Okay then. So we will wind up today's discussion with this. Right? So wish all of you good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night, ma'am.
By the time we meet next, please read the module and come. Right? It will be easy for you and me. All right then. Okay, see you by then.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.